Welcome back, guys, to the Fight for Love podcast. And for the people checking this out on my YouTube channel, Cats, Coffee, and Kickboxing. My name is Tanya. I am a personal trainer in Zurich, in Switzerland. And I am a kickboxer, a cat lover, and a coffee lover. I actually have my coffee mug here. I've had this one since 2001, since the first time I was in the United States from Starbucks. And I probably shouldn't use it anymore, but I just can't get rid of it. Good memories. I have my cat here actually. So this here is Karan, and Karan is just like a really sweet boy. He's see when he sleeps, he's just like, uh, I'm sleeping, and this is his mouth. I know you can hardly see him because he's black, like all my cats are black, and yeah, I am actually recording this on my bed. You got me there because my apartment is small and this is where I sleep and where I record podcasts and where I do Zoom interviews and all of that. So it seems like I have a big ass studio when in reality, this is my fucking bed. Yeah, guys, just make it work with what you have, right? So, anyway, I hope someday I can afford a bigger place and have my own like office and recording and also my own gym and also my own little boxing corner and oh, it would be so tight. Anyway, we're working towards that, right? So, um, I actually made notes this time for all the topics that I want to look up with you and talk about so I wouldn't lose focus. And so I would say everything I wanted to say. But I have ADHD and I don't know where my notes went. I don't. I put them on OneNote. And yes, I can actually, I managed to lose notes in OneNote. I could, for the life of me, not find them anymore. But I found an older topic where I made notes on which was similar to this one. So I wanted to make a similar episode in the past, but I never went down with it. I never did it. And now I found those notes and we're just going to kind of work with that. And you have to deal with my crazy brain today. So there's that. So nice you're here. Anyway, let's get started. Calorie counting. Um, I guess the title of this episode will be something like calorie counting, why I did it, why I stopped, and then started again. So, all right, little story to that. I first started counting calories when I had my first fight, but I did it just, it was like something I had to do. It wasn't like something that was fun for me. So I did it like half-ass ish. I just kind of tracked what I was eating, but like not too much, just like to get a little idea. And I didn't like do it right, but it wasn't complicated. So I made my weight easily. So for everybody or for anybody who doesn't know, when you fight, you have to get into a weight class. For women, that's usually in K1 kickboxing. One weight class is 60 to 65 kilograms, and the next one is 65 to 70 kilograms. I'm usually around 65. So for me, it's easy to drop a couple of kilograms or pounds and just get in the smaller weight class, which makes sense if you're a fighter to get into a smaller weight class because the bigger you are, the harder the punches will be from your opponents. So it makes sense to kind of try to keep your muscle mass and just get the fat and the water weight down a little bit. And in amateur fighting, which is what I'm doing, it's not like a very big deal, but I just like to kind of, I want to get into that weight class anyway. And I like to just try things out for myself, which is also why, I mean, after my first fight, I was like, okay, never, I don't think I'll ever have to do that again, count calories, because usually I'm pretty happy with my weight. I train a lot and it's fine. But when lockdown came, everything was closed and my kickboxing gym was closed. And I, like so many people, I was forced to train at home, which was fine. For a couple of weeks and months, I trained with my boyfriend. We had a really good time. Um, but after a while it got hard because I'm a human being like everybody else. It's hard for me to motivate myself over a long period of time. I like having a trainer who kind of yeah, kicks me in the butt if I need it. So I train or work out harder, and I like to train in groups. So training alone or just alone with my boyfriend, it wasn't the same. And I, like so many people, I have gained weight, but I think I've gained it even before lockdown. So and I was bored and I didn't know what to do, and I was just kind of looking for a challenge and something to experience and learn something new. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos in that time, and I just got inspired to try counting calories again for real this time. And yeah, so I wanted to get back to my weight that I had when I did my first fight, which meant that I was going to have to drop 7 kilograms. And I did. I did. I started counting calories, and I actually started off with I cut way too many calories at first, and I was hungry, I was mad. The first 3 days were awful because I was hungry, I was mad, and I barely had any energy to work out. And that was my mistake though, because I cut out way too many calories at the beginning. And I learned a lot doing that. Like, I learned not to cut too many calories. I will talk to you guys more about that later. I learned not to cut too many calories, to really play the long game when you want to lose weight. I mean, lose fat, not just weight. Also, I'm going to come back to that later. And also, I just learned how many calories certain things have, because a lot of foods, and even I, as a personal trainer who knows a lot about nutrition, like not as much as a professional nutritionist would, to be honest, but still a lot more than a lot of other people, I was still surprised how many calories certain things had. And I learned so much, like to substitute some things for other things, for example, or just not eat too much, like mayo, for example. I really like mayo, but it's calorie dense, which doesn't mean you don't have to have it, or you can't have it. I'm all for eat everything you want, but just in moderation. And also peanut butter. I'm a sucker for peanut butter. I love that stuff. I always get the unsugared 100% peanut butter, and I can just eat it all day. And it has a lot of calories, and I never like completely skipped it out, or cut it out of my nutrition, but I just kind of reduced it a little bit. So also, I have my coffee here, and it's with almond milk now, because I'm back at counting calories now. And I love lattes. This, as I said, is almond milk. I think it's fine, but it's not as good as regular milk, of course. But anyway, I lost the 7 kilograms, and I was able to maintain it. I mean, I did, because I learned so much. I just wanted to continue counting calories for a couple of months, because I learned so much from it, and I just wanted to get this like automatically into my brain, and that worked really well. But also, I stopped counting calories after that, because I just know you get obsessed with it after a while, or you have to be careful not to get obsessed with it. Because if you track everything you eat, you weigh everything you eat, it creates some situations where it's harder. Like, say you're with your friends, or you're out in a restaurant eating, you don't know how much fat things have, how much oil, how much sugar, how much butter, because restaurants usually they just cook to make things taste really good. And as we all know, the things that taste really good are oils, fats. I mean, oils are fats, butter, and sugar. So it just creates weird situations sometimes, where you're just unsure how to act. And you just kind of have to get back to this normal, quote unquote, way of living, where you're just not obsessed, where you don't obsess over foods and nutrition and things like that. But regardless, there's this thing called intuitive eating. And intuitive eating actually says you just eat what you feel like, what your body requires of you. You just kind of feel what you're hungry for, which I'm a fan of, but I think not everybody can do, because you have to have a really good connection to your body. You have to just kind of, you know how it is to work out, to work with your body. And I think not everybody has learned that from a young age. Some people didn't learn that from home, and for them it's harder to do. But if you're somebody who is really good at listening to what is good for them, then go for it. But for me, like, intuitive eating combined with calorie counting every once in a while is the way to go, because after I stopped counting calories, I was fine for a couple of months, but I did after a while realize that the scale went up, 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 up again, just slightly. And a while, I was like, okay, I want to cut down again. And I did, but then I didn't really. And I tried and I counted calories, but I was too loose on it, like the first time I did it. But then I agreed to do a fight in June. Hopefully, I'm not sure if it's going to be in June yet. I don't even know if it's going to be yet at all. But since it's March now, and I have 2 months, March, April, May, June. Yeah, it's going to be in the beginning of June, probably. I have 2 months to lose 2 kilograms. And when you're thinking, why are you starting now? I start because I played the long game. And I advise you to do the same if you want to lose weight. Play the long game, because you cannot take any shortcuts if you want to lose fat. If you want to lose water weight, sure, you can take the shortcut. I know fighters, they do a lot, like 5 to, I even heard 10 kilograms in just a week, or even less. It's crazy. And I advise you not to do that, because that's not healthy for you. Because if your body just loses water, first thing, as soon as you start drinking water again and eating carbs because they hold water, you're just going to gain that weight back, which is what you should do, because your body needs freaking water, and you need carbs too. And it's just not going to help. It's just the number on the scale that's going to change. But what you want is your body to get rid of fat, usually, right? I mean, you don't have to. It's your decision. But I'm just saying, if you want to lose weight, if you want to lose weight in fat, you have to play the long game, which means I think they say like 0.25 kilograms a week is a good number. You can go a little bit higher if you want, but trust me, if you cut out too many calories, then it's not gonna be fun. As I said, when I first did it, the first 4 days, I was aggressive, I was mad, I was not feeling well. I could barely work out. Working out was the worst. So I couldn't even do it, to be honest. And I don't remember how much I cut my calories in those first days. I think it was like by 400 or 500 calories a day, which was way too much for me. So I went back and I cut out like 200 a day, and I felt so much better. And this is how I play the long game. 2 kilograms in 2 months is a good number, is a good way to go. If you want it faster, trust me, it's not going to be worth it, because if you cut out too many calories, I mean, obviously, it depends if you're a man, if you're a woman, how tall are you, how old are you? You kind of have to play around with that and figure it out. Also, I'm going to come back to that later. But anyway, if you cut out too many calories, you're just gonna feel like shit, and it's not worth it. And what happens then is, for many people, they might do it for a while. Also, fasting is the same. They might do it for a while, but then the hunger becomes so intense, and your body wants food so badly that it's just, the danger of binging just gets stronger and stronger. Like, it could just happen that one day you just kind of snap and you just binge and you eat whatever you find, and you will ruin all your progress that you made. So it's so much better to just cut your calories slowly, work your way to the perfect number. For me, it's 200 calories a day. And also, what you want to know, because studies have shown that it makes sense to add like either cheat weeks or a cheat meal, because when your body gets less calories, your body is fucking smart. and your body wants to survive. So if your body realizes that it gets less calories, the whole metabolism goes down and slows down. These are small changes you don't really register. Like maybe you don't fidget as much, maybe you will skip your workout because you don't feel well. You move less, and maybe you're colder because your body produces less heat because it wants to conserve the energy, right? Because it knows, oh, we're getting less calories now. But you have to break the cycle by either, that's what I'm doing, giving yourself one cheat meal a week, or cutting your calories for like 3 weeks and then just eating normal on the maintain level for 1 week. Maintain level is the level where your weight stays the same. Counting calories is where you lose weight. So you wanna, like in this week, you don't wanna like eat everything that comes your way because you're gonna ruin your progress, but just eat your normal weight maintain level. Apps help you to figure out where your maintain level is. You kind of have to figure out for yourself. Also, I'm gonna come back to that later. Anyway, what I do is I just eat 200 calories. I cut by 200 calories every day, but one meal a week. For just one meal, I can eat whatever comes my way. So that's what I did on Saturday. I order a big pizza, like a big one, and I eat ice cream, and yeah, I just go at it. I just eat a lot, and for one meal, and that's it. That's all. And it kind of shows your body that it doesn't have to restrict the energy. It doesn't have to conserve anything, because you will show your body, hey, the food is here. Look, we're eating a lot today. And then you cut back again, and your body is kind of not as stressed and will not hold back and try to conserve all the energy. It works. So what I wanted to show you also is I actually started on the 16th of March. That's 5 days ago. So not a lot yet. I just started with counting calories, but I wanted to show you my numbers, and I want to make it clear these are not numbers that you have to do in the same way. I actually don't really like showing my numbers because I don't want you to think that you have to have the same weight as me. Everybody is different. Remember that. You are different. I am different. Everybody's different, and weight is a really personal thing. You're not, you can, of course, go by BMI. It's not like free of flaws. It has its flaws, but it's a good number to kind of see in what range you're in. So I show you my numbers, but please remember, you find your own numbers that work for you, for your size, for your body type. Not everybody has the same metabolism. Not everybody has the same body type, but I just want to show you how you shouldn't rely on numbers, because that's one big thing. Of course, I step on the scale every day because I need to see my progress in the long run. I need to see whether the number slowly decreases or stays the same or even increases. But look here. I have, on my very first day of weighing myself, I was 65.2 kilograms. And again, it's been 5 days. It went a little bit down. And then, you see that little moon that says pizza on the side? Well, here. I had pizza, and next day, I was heavier than I was when I started. And there's no reason to get frustrated over that, because I started at 65.2 on the 16th, and on Saturday I had my pizza dinner, my cheat meal, and the next day I was 65.5, so heavier than when I started out. But I'm not stressing out over that, because I know when I eat a big ass meal with a lot of salt, with a lot of carbs, what this creates is it holds water in your body, and water is heavy. So if I step on the scale and I'm heavier, I'm way heavier than when I started. That doesn't mean I'm not making progress with losing fat. that probably means, because I know I've been in a calorie deficit all week and I've done fine, that probably means because I had a big old load of carbs and salt, my body just holds water, and water is heavy. So remember that. Muscles are heavy too. So if you keep on building muscles, your weight might just stay the same. And but if you work towards losing fat, I mean, I only write it down, guys. I only write it down because I need the number for my fights. When I do the weigh-in, I have to have a certain number. That's the only reason I write down my numbers. You don't have to do that. If you want to lose fat, you're better off going by the way you look and the way your clothes fit you. So you don't need the scale. You can use it. You can write down the number every day, but remember that your weight can go up really fast depending on what you eat. And that might be just water weight. It's probably just water weight, especially if you stuck to your calorie deficit goal. It's probably going to be water weight. And we need water weight. So it doesn't make sense to cut it out. It can be dangerous to cut it out. So just stick with eating protein, carbs, and fats, but look at the number. Of course, there's little small tricks you can do. And I mean, there's all these low carb and no carb and paleo, however you say it, whatever. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need that. You don't need intermediate fasting. You don't need low carb. You don't need paleo. You don't need to eat vegan if you don't want to. It doesn't have to be that way. If you stick to the numbers, that's just a scientific method. Calories in versus calories out is all you need to know. Of course, you can play with certain things. You have to know how saturating certain foods are. You have to eat a lot of fiber. You have to eat healthy fats rather than like trans fats and stuff. But this will go way, 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 way too deep into today's episode. So if you have questions, let me know. Other than that, remember, it's not, it doesn't have to be a certain diet. No diet is superior to others. Actually, they did a study. My good friend, who's a doctor and has a and works as a overweight, like she helps overweight people lose weight. I forgot the correct medicinal term. Sorry. But anyway, she's a doctor, and she told me about that study. She actually showed me that study that they did in 2008. I think they had like almost 1,000 participants, and they compared different methods of losing weight. I think they compared like intermediate fasting and low carb and some other things to each other, some other diets. And they realized, or what they figured out, is that all the people kind of lost the same amount of weight or not at all. It just didn't make a difference. So there's not one method of eating that's superior to another. So if you stick to the numbers, that's all you need. And I just want to stress that it's important to don't be afraid of fats, don't be afraid of carbs. Just know how much energy is in those foods, and just know that, just stick to healthy foods, eat a lot of veggies, eat a lot of stuff that comes like natural stuff, like I mean, not everything is natural. Natural is not always better. Nature can kill you too. But I mean, like foods that are not super processed is usually a good way to go. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So how do you figure out how you where your how your numbers are? How do you figure out your numbers? Actually, okay, boy, you're laying on my he's like lying on my knee. It's so cute. Show your head. He's like, what are you doing? Oh, cats are the best. Okay, how do you figure out your number? There are calorie counting tools that you can Google. You can Google calorie counter and you find calorie counting tools, but they're just really, really they don't work super well. They might give you an idea. But I think the better idea is for you to just start writing down what you eat. Just write it down, eat normal as you always would. I need coffee. Coffee is good. Write down what you always, what you normally eat. Just track it for like 2 weeks, but also track the calories. Like, just weigh out everything and use an app. I think I heard MyFitnessPal is good, but I use Lifesum, Lifesum. And you can scan your foods, or you can just type it in and you see how much calories it has. You have to weigh your food out and weigh everything, even the oil that you use for cooking. And yeah, you just type it in and it shows you how many calories it has. And I would just suggest you do this for 2 weeks and eat normal, but always track the calories you're eating. So that gives you an idea of how many calories you usually eat. And then if you want to lose weight, you start cutting down those numbers. Like, you cut down, for example, let's say start with maybe 100 calories or 200. As I said, I'm doing 200. I'm a 37-year-old woman. I'm 170 centimeters or 173. And I cut out by 200, but I'm very active too. So I do a lot of sports. And just try it out for yourself. Just cut down the calories, but please don't go too low, because you'll regret it. It will not help your body at all. Just take it slow, and then kind of start tracking your progress. And that's actually it. You should never be like extremely hungry. Sometimes you might feel a little hungry, but you're gonna figure out what foods help you stay full for longer. And you just kind of have to play around with it and work with it, and after a while you'll make progress that way. If you're wondering what my hand is doing, I mean, you know what my hand is doing. It's cuddling my cat. What else will my hand be doing? Yeah, that's it. Like, just kind of figure out what your calories usually are, and just kind of cut down a little bit and see what happens. And guys, please give yourself time. Remember, 0.25 kilograms for me a week is a good number. Play the long game here. You will not gain anything from obsessively stepping on the scale and checking your weight and freaking out because you had a lot of carbs, and then your weight goes up again. It will fluctuate. Also, your menstrual cycle, if you're a woman, or your training, everything will influence your weight. So this can change really fast. And it doesn't really show an adequate picture of how much fat you lose. Of course, there's tools to measure that, but you don't need fancy tools. You don't. Trust me, I've tried. You don't need the fancy tools. Just kind of look at the way your pants fit. Look at the picture in the mirror. The picture in the mirror. I don't know, the person in the mirror, and just kind of go from there. And that's pretty much all. And if you're being successful with that and you manage to get to your goal weight, then stick with it a little bit. You can actually come back up a little bit with your calories to maintain your weight. And also, this, you have to try it out. But also, what I wanted to say is, maybe stop counting calories after a while when you get a feeling for it, because you don't want to get obsessed with it. You don't want to stress out every time your friends take you out to dinner, or every time when it's a nice day out and you want some ice cream. Just get the ice cream. I mean, it's always kind of figuring out how much you can give yourself and how much you should kind of cut back. It's a slippery slope sometimes, but I think it's important to just kind of stop counting calories after a while and just working with what your body wants. And when you feel your weight going up again, you can still start again with counting calories. That's what I did. That's what works for me. And after a while, you get a feeling for it. And if you don't, then you can always come back to that tool, but just don't obsess over it. Remember, life is short. We only live once. And yeah, make the best of it. Stay healthy. You don't have to lose weight. It's your decision, yours alone. Don't let anybody tell you anything. Of course, after, like, when you have a certain weight, it gets unhealthy and you really have to take care of it, of yourself. I'm not somebody to say, like, it doesn't matter how big you are, you're going to be healthy. That's, in my opinion, that's not true. But you don't have to have a six-pack. You don't, to be healthy. You don't have to be super skinny to be healthy. You don't have to be. Okay, so just remember that. Do it for yourself, nobody else. If you want, you don't have to lose weight. But if you do, I hope these tips help you and my experience helps you. If you have any questions, hit me up. I am on Instagram as It's Up to You Personal Training. I am on LinkedIn as Tanja Mader, Tanja Mader. And where else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Here on YouTube, Cats, Coffee, and Kickboxing, and on the Fight for Love podcast. So I thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you learned something today. Yeah, you can do anything you want. You know that, because you are stronger than you think. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye bye. See, he's a licky boy, so he likes to lick me a lot. What you doing, boy? What you doing, boy? Huh? Oh, look at him. He's so cute.